Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am SidAlpha, and we're here to answer the question that's terminally seared into my brain with a branding iron. Is it worth it? Today, we're going to be taking a look at Oracle, a narrative-driven walking simulator by Watercolor Games, and we're going to deviate once again from our standard format, as my attempts at creating a flowing narrative in a game of this type would be well nigh impossible. Let's not deny it. The reason being that Oracle being termed a walking simulator is one of the greatest understatements I've ever heard. This game is huge, and it's not really a game as far as I would have normally phrased it. There's nothing to do, no interactivity, no end objective that I was able to determine other than to meander your way slowly around a massive island until you happen to stumble across a landmark and earn another 30 seconds of a voice-acted story. And I'm guessing, judging that I've unlocked 12 of the 24 achievements in the game and have received 12 pieces of the story, that there are indeed 24 30-second segments to the story, which, hey, even I am able to do simple arithmetic, and this leaves you with hours of wandering for 12 minutes worth of narrative. Now, in addition to that minor oversight, the game feels empty. Oh, there are plenty of interesting vistas, and the graphics, while not brilliant, are serviceable enough, but there's nothing to do. There's no activity. You can't even pick anything in the game up. It's a lovely world that someone spent a great deal of time creating, but it's done so very much in a way that you can't really enjoy it. Now, this game may be going for a relaxing, story-driven ASMR type experience, but I am the type of gamer that needs more interactivity in what I'm playing. This world, while pretty, feels shallow and incomplete. There are rocks and bits of flowers suspended in midair everywhere, which shows to me that someone spent a great deal of time crafting these different vistas and set pieces and then simply abandoned them, deciding to give up, tack on a cheap 12-minute story which is barely interesting enough to be engaging if there were actual game elements, but painfully dull with nothing to prop it up. And that is, from my experience, very much what this game is. Nothing. It contains nothing, allows you to do nothing, and does nothing to challenge you in any way. And of course, some might say that, Sid, you're missing the point. It's meant to be a relaxing experience, and they did fantastically well. And that's all well and good for those of you that are looking for that sort of thing, but there are so many games out there that create relaxing experiences without resorting to leaving you to wander around an empty world with a painfully short narrative broken up into segments that are far too small and disinteresting to be of any real worth. There are games out there that handle narrative experiences surprisingly well without having any sort of combat system and can be quite relaxing. Take Abzu and Firewatch as perfect examples of that. Games that allowed for wonderful set pieces and fantastic vistas while engaging in an interesting narrative, each in their own very unique ways that were completely different from each other. Firewatch with its interesting look into shared paranoia, and Abzu with its silent pictorial depictions of events of the past. Each of them were superb in their own way, but there was one key element that fit both of those games that this game utterly lacks: interactivity. And yet, in spite of all this, in spite of the fact that, by every definition of what I deem to be a good game, Oracle manages to violate every one of those tenets. In spite of all that, there's something about it that I still find compelling in some way and is interesting enough for me to continue to talk about it. Games come in all shapes and sizes and span multiple different mediums. Games are as diverse as anything else in the world that one might imagine, ranging in size, shape, complexity, format, and scope. The array of games and unique experiences in the world are staggering when one considers the vast quantity in existence. It really is amazing just how many different types there are. So, why the hell not make room for an ASMR game? Or a game that is meant to be relaxing with no real interactivity, no puzzles, nothing to challenge the mind. Maybe something more to set it at ease. You see, this is one of those unique aspects of being a games critic that I actually enjoy the most. I get to experience a vast quantity of games and discover new worlds and new methods of forming entertainment every day. I may not like them all, but for a great many of them, I can learn to form an appreciation for them not from personal preference, but for what they are and what they are attempting to accomplish. And for what Oracle is attempting to achieve, for what it sets out to do. It does so very nicely. I was reminded of walking around in the mountains nearby my home. Some of the terrain in this game was remarkably similar, and it reminded me how much I used to enjoy traipsing around the woods with my friends, sometimes just to explore new areas, other times to find wild huckleberries. Now, those are the types of experiences that this game invoked memories of and reminded me of a simpler time when I wasn't quite so busy as I am now. And between being a father, holding down a job as a manager for an IT consulting firm, and continuing to produce regular content for a budding YouTube channel sometimes feels like I'm working more than 3 full-time jobs. And in that light, it felt good to be reminded of those excursions in the past, to be reminded of when I had time to slow down and smell the roses, to feel the simple pleasures like grass under your toes. So on that note, Oracle somehow manages to earn my recommendation. As a game, I don't care for it in the least. But on some level, as an experience, it's one that I'm grateful for and one that I may revisit again during these winter months. But don't take all of my word for it. Maybe give it a try yourself. It is only $2, and the area is huge, and there's a lot to see in it. But what do you think? Do games that are designed to be purely visual, relaxing experiences have a place in the video games industry or no? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're at it, don't be afraid to hit those like and share buttons. I promise they won't bite, and every click helps to grow my channel and will help get us one step closer to my doing this for you all full time. And maybe when that happens, maybe I can slow down a little bit and feel the grass between my toes. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to punch that subscribe button like your Sugar Ray Leonard. Show it you mean business. And if you're interested in supporting my channel even further, then feel free to go throw $1 at my Patreon. You can go even further than that and follow me on Twitter or Facebook, and links to all of those are in the description down below. So thank you for watching as I ramble on for far too long once again, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I am SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time.